Today on this episode of the Crubcast, we're talking about dead video game genres and which ones we think should be brought back, specifically probably in Fortnite, because it'd be really funny. My name's Kevin, also known as the Golden Bolt. I'm here with my fellow co-Crubbers in order from most sexy to equally sexy. Wolf Chaos-on.
Let's go! My name's Wolf Chaos-on. Hi.
Hi, Sean. I'm also here with Chris Mykonos fan.
Hey, look, that's me.
He's the one with the name under his thing if you're watching the video version of this podcast at youtube.com/@CrubOfficial. And the dancing maestro himself, all hail buckets. Hi, Nicco.
It is I. What's up, gamers?
I don't know.
What is up?
Yeah, who is up?
Where am I?
Who up? You up?
Why is you
Listeners,
up?
listeners, are you up? Because you're gonna be by the time we're done talking about today's topic. So we each picked out, because of the recent advent of Fortnite Rocket Racing and Fortnite Guitar Hero mode. I forget what that one's called. We started thinking about
Fortnite Festival. Sorry.
Thank you. We started thinking about how Fortnite has become kind of a platform in itself, and we're not going to talk specifically about Fortnite, but the idea of this game that's bigger than games, that can bring back genres that can't exactly be super successful on their own. And in some way, we'll talk about how it'd be really funny, for example, to have a Fortnite RTS. Chris, I think you started with RTS on our list here that we talked about beforehand. Do you want to explain why RTSs are dead, or why you think they're dead, and why Fortnite would be the great way to do one?
I feel like they're dead just because there's been a lot of L's in the RTS space. Company of Heroes 3. I think it came and did kind of okay, but I feel like every time I check in on that game, there's some issue with the developer, and there's just the whole kind of weird thing. Microsoft kind of has it going with Age of Empires 4 and the remasters. Like, they're kind of keeping it going, but kind of in a way where gaming has just in some ways become so much more popular that RTS just kind of stayed around where it was, and it feels more dead than it is. I don't think anyone's come around and made like a really successful RTS that kind of hits broad in a while, and Fortnite feels like the place to put it. But this was mostly motivated by me being like, wouldn't it be funny to deploy Peter Griffin in mass armies and send them to fight like Eminem and John Wick and stuff like that? So, you know,
what if we did a Fortnite Clash of Clans like city builder?
Ooh.
That'd be a great way of doing it.
Yeah, P-topia could actually exist.
Awesome.
Yeah.
City builder was my other idea. Yeah, I was like, well, you know, what if you had little Peter Griffins running around the little city, and they were like, you know, bringing resources back in with coal and stuff. And I was like, okay, this is a dumb idea. Basically, I just wanted all the dumb Fortnite characters to have to do really stupid things.
Which, to be fair, is the point of Fortnite at this point.
Yeah.
Nicco, we'll go to you next. Which one do you want to bring up first as far as a dead genre that you'd like to see back?
Well, so actually, I need to append something, because what I told you guys in our pre-production meeting essentially was Endless Runners. And I still am saying that. I'm saying that for this one. Endless Runners. It's a game that, like, you know, people haven't made a good one since Temple Run. Nope, I lied. They haven't made a good one since the Sonic one. That one was
Sonic
the
Dash.
best one.
Which one?
Sonic
There's
Dash
Sonic
was
Dash,
the best one.
And then there's Sonic Prime Dash. And then there's Sonic Boom
can't.
Dash.
We can't.
And there's Sonic Forces Power Dash.
There sure
that
is.
one.
So Sonic Dash was probably my favorite Endless Runner. And I think that Fortnite could be the place to bring that back. Now, what I would like to append is, you know what's a dead genre? A genre that never existed, and that is games that play like they look in the mobile ads. So if you've ever seen mobile ads for games, none of the games play like they look. And
That's valid.
Some of them look pretty darn fun. And so my pitch for Fortnite is to have an entire Fortnite mobile platform that has an endless runner. It has some other game, like a Find the Differences game, like, you know, games that you just see in mobile ads, but the catch is they actually work and they don't put a virus on your phone.
Can we do the one where it's an endless runner, but you have to like shoot a bunch of little guys and build up power? It's like every mobile game I've seen in the last 40 years at this point.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be great. Sean,
And they also play Family Guy clips at the top of the screen.
They've already got Peter in, you know.
TikTok algorithm bypassing Fortnite game.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Yep.
That's the future. I don't know what any of those words mean. Sean, what was your first idea for a dead genre, why you want to see it back, and why Fortnite would be the best or worst way to do it?
Okay, so this isn't technically a really dead genre. There's actually been a lot of recent games coming up, and they've been a lot of fun. One of the other Crub members, Trav Guy, covers a lot of these types of games. Boomer shooter, just because I think just playing Fortnite as a boomer shooter is hilarious to me. Just to like have just random, and I don't mean like, 3D, I mean like the 2D Doom style where you just have like this Peter Griffin like pixel art coming up to you like, but like, super pixelated the entire time and 16 crunchy bit and just shooting Peter Griffin. And you can pick whoever you want, but it really doesn't matter because you just see the gun in front of you. I just think that'd be a lot of fun. Another thing that came up to mind with the whole, boomer shooter in Fortnite is just because, I just like the idea of just making another gun game in a game where you just have guns the entire time. I don't know. It's just stupid to me. But yeah, go watch Trav Guy videos because he does a lot of good boomer shooter videos.
Watch them after you've watched every Crub video.
Yeah.
Wait until we're done. I like that because it made me think of the Doom Guy face in the HUD at the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's like that, but Peter Griffin. All of this is really just, wouldn't it be funny if Peter Griffin did this for
They
the
already
record?
had
But-
the HUD.
Or the
Fortnite's
alien.
HUD is already kind of the Doom HUD. Just put in the middle, just put a little Peter.
Yeah, just angry and like looking
Yeah.
around and getting hurt. I mean,
Or just
You
like
legitimately-
Goku screaming.
You
Goku
could just
screaming.
make that like an interface option for Fortnite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they could just make that. You could just play normal battle royale in first person boomer view. You know?
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I just find it I don't know. It was just like the idea of just making another shooting game inside of a game where you shoot stuff is just hilarious to me and stupid. Kevin.
So, do we want a real one or a not? I'll give you a not real one first. Text-based adventure
right.
game. I think a text-based adventure game would be really fun in Fortnite. It's not multiplayer. You load up Fortnite and then you read. It's how to get kids to read.
Low-key, I
the
back
whole-
that, though. I back that. And then they could make it like... See, now, this would be somewhere where incorporating elements of AI... What? You look like you've had a revelation.
Fortnews.
Fortnews?
And it's a news platform. Entirely in Fortnite. Like you have
Okay.
Jonesy reading the headlines.
Okay, but it would have to have some sort like...
No.
I'm just to give Tomodachi life at that point.
Yeah, honestly.
I want that because that means that's
Yeah.
Troy Baker reading the news specifically for Jonesy, and that's just funny.
I was thinking it's like the Splatoon, when you launch the game, the updates where it's all in. It could be. We'll get Joe Swanson in, and he'll do like his Banjo Kazooie.
No. Stop that.
Actually, Sean
Swear
just
jar,
said...
by the way.
Sean
My
just
bad.
said Tomodachi life.
Yes.
That's not it. I think
So-
a two-game genre isn't a genre, but that's a dead genre Fortnite should bring back.
Nobody else say that until we get around to me the second time.
I'll
We'll
bounce
just
up
forget
and,
that real quick.
I'll bounce up and give you a real one, which
Okay.
is actually that's a fake one too. Extreme sports games. And it's simple. I'll give you two for the price of one. Car combat, because both of those things are already in Fortnite in some capacity now. You already have weird parkour stuff. You already have car racing, also known as rocket racing, also known as car soccer, but car racing. I think that both of these are actual things that Fortnite could do, not in terms of a gameplay thing. Obviously, they can pull it off. They have infinite developers that they don't pay enough. But more in the sense of those genres do not tend to perform well, and they can't really justify the higher development costs that exist nowadays with a higher graphical fidelity and more particles and more things. A series like Twisted Metal, for example, existed when it did because it was easier to do fewer effects because you had less to work with. As things scale up, it gets harder and harder. That's why we haven't had a really cool Burnout game. Also, because companies don't want their real cars to be smashed to bits with super realistic physics or super unrealistic physics, but crumples and all that stuff. But both of these things, again, they don't tend to perform well. So having like an SSX or a Tony Hawk style of gameplay in Fortnite would be how you subsidize the cost of that production, in the same way that Rocket Racing is probably the most successful racing game in recent memory, but it's not doing nearly as well as Fortnite or the Lego Fortnite mode in daily player count.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So
They do
I don't
have
know
a
if that's
trick
changed
system
at all.
on the motorbike. There's already like a trick system when you go around in the Battle Royale mode. So I'm like, they've already got the trick system figured out.
Yeah, like it's right there. It's right for the taking. Car combat would be more involved. You'd probably have psionics do that. And
that tracks.
But even still, like, you have this infinite money platform, and it seems like their goal was to do like the Coke strategy of add new versions of products, and that way it counts as new sales. Essentially, it counts as new units moved. It counts as new players. So you keep the numbers up and infinite capitalism and all that. With that, Nicco, I'll jump to you because I don't know what Rocket Racing's player count looks like now. I know it was still much lower than Fortnite to begin with. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I see like 48,000 when I log in and look at it. Something like that.
And the first week after it came out, it was like 500,000 current players. Like was the peak, I think, something like that. I think the last I checked a couple weeks ago, the total player base was 2.1 million.
Across all of Fortnite?
Of course. No, across
on Rocket Racing.
On Rocket Racing.
Gotcha.
There was like 31 million for Battle Royale
for
like, for reference. And that was a couple weeks ago. So like it could have grown. Battle Royale probably grew. Like their whole platform is about growth. But so my next one is Tomodachi Life. That type of that type of genre of game. And by that I mean a game where you can create characters and then they text to speech. And you can
they just do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They just hang out on a little island, together.
And you, the player, are an in-game character separate from your avatar in the game that's your lookalike, right? And that's the gimmick of Tomodachi Life specifically, but I would like to see that in Fortnite because I think it'd be really funny to just have, like, even if you don't create the character, well, first of all, have the create a character, make it so you can just create a character in Fortnite. You just have to buy aesthetic
like
packs or whatever, right?
Step, like an actual avatar.
Yeah. And then, so do it like a Bitmoji style, but in game. And then, or, like a me, maybe. And then you would have them just live their lives and it'd be really, really funny. And then now that we have AI voices that are actually good, you could like buy celebrity voices or you could like...
Oh, that's a dark path.
I mean, I don't love it. But like, it's the Pandora's box is already open. Like, we might as well use it to be funny.
Hello, citizens of Fortnite. It is I, Bernie Sanders. I am here to tell you about the news. Thank you.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Right. No, but I do agree. I like the text-to-speech voices better. I think they're funnier. I think you cannot have this without the text-to-speech being crappy in some way. Even if you do buy like a Peter Griffin voice, it's got to be trained on like a bad model, And
you got to be able to raise the pitch up and down in that weird Tomodachi way. Yeah.
Right. Raise the pitch up and down, adjust the tempo, the speed, adjust their like... They behave based on like the attributes you select for them.
You're just making a Windows voice mod.
What we're saying is that Tomodachi Life is Nintendo's seminal game, and it's a shock and a shame that it has not come to other platforms.
This talked me into it real quick because I was like, oh, you could be on an island like in Tomodachi Life. And I was like, wait, they already have the Fortnite map filled with like houses and stuff. Like they have already have all that in place. It's just all the weird Tomodachi stuff you'd have to do. but I mean, at that point.
It's right there.
And then exactly. So that's my pitch.
Okay.
I want to be
Chris,
Mr. Beast.
You have any other ideas, Chris, for dead genres that you'd like to see Fortnite revive?
Nope. I brought one in. I thought we'd linger on them more, so I didn't prepare.
I'll give you one. Chris, say... I don't have any. Halo custom games. So Halo custom games.
They should bring Halo custom games back because Halo Infinite's dead and it's not going to use them anyway. So why not put them in the game people actually play?
God,
that's what the script said.
They technically have custom game. Like I've seen smaller gimmicky modes, but I'm talking like you already have build mode. I'm talking go Forge. I'm talking like
again, I think they have that. People make like experiences in
not real.
Fortnite. I think you got to be.
But do
like,
they have Jenga? Do they have Infection? Do they have? I'm talking like all these really, really like secondary game modes. Do they have Griffball in Fortnite? I want Griffball in Fortnite.
Can you
Actually,
put the Burger King parking lot in?
Actually,
Yeah, there was a Burger King. Yeah,
I should search Griffball in Fortnite. Somebody probably made it.
Yeah, I'm
100%.
sure. I'm sure some of this exists. To be fair, like I know that there is a custom games platform.
I know what
there's
you're
a
saying though.
development
Like,
platform.
give people like a Dreams type platform in Fortnite.
Not even Dreams. I'm just talking like there's no real way that I know of that I've seen to search for a lot of these things. Like Halo had a built-in search engine for these modes, and you could see what people were playing and what people were enjoying. So you found really cool maps that you could play for like team deathmatch. Obviously, Fortnite's not really a team deathmatch kind of game. That changes it a little bit. But it could be. They could make that a more persistent mode.
It is. That actually is.
I mean a more active persistent mode. Like it's a thing that exists, but they're not. That's not a remote priority of theirs.
Yeah, and to be fair, I wasn't there for the days of Forge Halo, so I don't really know.
That's not true. You played Reach.
I
and
played
with us
Reach
a lot.
I played Reach, but we didn't like make our own maps or like play on like forged maps quite often.
It depended on how many people we had, because we would do Infection nights. We would do like, especially in Halo 3 had Jenga. Halo 3 had really fun Jenga.
I never played Halo 3. That's the one that I missed out. Well, I missed out on every Halo not named Reach, basically.
Oh, and Infinite took forever to make all these things a thing. Like Infinite's Forge took about a year and a half after its year delay. Custom games were not really remotely good for when I stopped playing. I'm sure they're okay now, but there's 10 people playing that game now. It'd be cool to see, because Fortnite already has things that Halo did before it, not necessarily first, but like, oh, you flipped your car, press the X button to flip it over, and it does stupid physics. Like basic quality of life things that Fortnite has are all taken and adapted from every other shooter. It's the natural progression of the shooter genre. It takes everything and doesn't really do much original itself, and that's not a knock. They polish it really well. So to take more of that would be really cool, because Fortnite is what Halo was in terms of being this phenomenon. Too many more players, of course. Halo you had to pay for. So yeah, Sean, what's your real genre that is dead that you want to see come back, and why should it come back in Fortnite?
Dope, because I have two. One I didn't really care to put in Fortnite, just a genre I wanted to talk about, but we'll get to that, because you made me think of how I can make this work for Fortnite. This other one, I thought of rail shooters. Love rail shooters. But hear me out. Rail shooter, but at an actual arcade, because you don't really have. I mean, sure, you have like House of the Dead and stuff like that, but you have a Fortnite rail shooter. Kids are going to lose their freaking mind. I'm going to lose my freaking mind. You're going to sit here and tell me that I'm not going to go on there and just be freaking going Super Saiyan shooting people? I'd do that. I'd do that at Dave & Buster's.
They do have the Halo rail shooter. They have the Minecraft Dungeons arcade version. These exist. Like these things.
I may have jumped the gun on laughing at that one. Yeah.
But yeah, you put that like at a Dave & Buster's, you're set. But I also like it at an actual like arcadey at home type feel, because I really like. I mean, obviously you have things like Star Fox and whatnot, but I think you could do like a lot of cool things, like actually implement more vehicles through Fortnite as rail shooters, and I think you could really do a lot of cool things with that. I just really miss rail shooters. I'm
City have things like Star Fox, and I'm like, oh, that's a dead series. This is the dead series now.
Yeah, it's pretty much.
They'd also have like the little rare style flappy noises, so you could have Peter Griffin doing the mumbly flappy noises. Yeah, and you could have the Peter Copter in there too the entire time. But thank you, Chris.
God, rail shooter was just kind of one of those fun things.
Yeah, that's a neat one actually. Like that's a good way to get Fortnite into a physical arcade.
Yeah. No, that's actually incredibly fair.
Surprised they haven't done. But like I said, like they do that. Kids are just going to run up to that and spend like all $20 on every Dave & Buster's card on there. It's just going to happen. You're going to have to accept it. Dave & Buster's, you should do that. thank me for that. Give me money for that, please and thank you. Actually, I'm not asking
Dave
you
and
to do it.
Buster's, what if you sponsored the Crubcast? What if? Just saying. Anyway.
You could even have a Dave and Buster sword, like Final Fantasy VII in Apex Legends, the RPG mode in Apex Legends.
Why did I think that it was why did I think it was a Dave and Buster's Final Fantasy VII sword? Like it just had like the Dave and Buster's logo on the blade itself.
I want to see Dave jumping through the sky with his sword, plunging.
What? I just thought of Dave from Wendy's?
No, Dave from Dave and Buster's. We've never seen what he looks like. He might be Sephiroth. We don't know.
I see. Why did I think of Dave from Wendy's? Man, that guy hasn't been there in 30 years.
I think he's dead.
Before we jump to your next one, Sean, I do want to say really quickly, because I noticed, for those that don't know, we stream these live on Twitch every Tuesday at twitch.tv/Crub_official. Somebody in chat said they should revive the survival horror genre by finally updating Save the World. I have written down as my last one, essentially, build and defend horde modes, because I wanted to make that joke. Someone beat me to it. If you want to catch these live with exclusive pre and post shows, go to the Twitch. If you want to catch those pre and post shows after they are live, you can go to patreon.com/Crub, get that, and a bunch of other perks, such as, Chris, what did you record recently? It was
JTart9 and I have been going through Makoto Shinkai's filmography, the Your Name director, and we've been going back and watching the ones not called Your Name that no one ever really talks about. So we did Children Who Chase Lost Voices recently with Nicco. I'm so used to that being just me and Justin. I was like, oh yeah, Nicco's there. But yeah, we did those. We were having a good time. Deep talks on those movies. Very good opinions, in my opinion.
You and I have something that we're cooking up that'll be really, really good if we do it. And it's coming probably in the next month or so to Patreon, and probably only Patreon for a while. So you should go to patreon.com/Crub. It's going to be very fun. We always have a bunch of bonus content, essentially every week, just about, sometimes more than once a week. Mario Party game nights we do, stuff like that. Final plug, if you're listening in the audio realm, go to the YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube. If you're watching the video, hit the like button. If you're listening in the audio realm, leave a review. If you're listening in the video realm, go to your audio platform and leave a review, because those really help us get to our goal of becoming Norway's #1 podcast. We're pretty close, I think. I stopped checking, but I'm sure we're close.
We could be.
So, yeah. Sean,
I have one more quick plug. Discord.
Yes.
Crub.org/join. Join the Discord. You can be in the same Discord as Kevin the Golden Bolt, Mr. Moriarty, Travis Guy, our friend Sean, our friend Chris, myself, Justin JTard9, and
I like
Brody.
that phrasing.
I couldn't think of adjectives for everybody. I always try to. I never can. But
and to clarify, the Discord is not part of the Patreon. That is just a thing that we have because we want to talk with our fellow Crubbers, our Crubscribers.
It is free.
Yeah.
Now back to the show. Sean.
That's me.
What was the other one before the idea of rail shooter came up that you wanted to say?
So the other one, which wouldn't really work in Fortnite. I mean, they probably could make it work, but I wouldn't play it because I don't like Fortnite. I have to throw that out there, is run and gun games. The last one I can really think that hit really well was Cuphead. But you have Metal Slug. Metal Slug, I heard they came out with a...
There's a couple Metal Slug games that are coming out, right?
Yeah, but I think that's kind of the only thing that's been going on. Contra's not around anymore. I mean, it is, but it's not my Contra. Not my Contra. And I really miss those days of just having one of your friends run around with you in these really difficult run and gun games. And you don't really, I mean, sure, you don't really see many of those games. Maybe this could be a bigger rise in the indie genre, but I just miss sitting down with a friend in a really difficult game, trying to shoot the mess out of aliens or monsters or random military things. And it's just a simple sit down couch co-op type game. And I really miss those types of games.
Couch co-op Fortnite would be
cool. Everyone just hates
me.
Yeah,
we all start at once. Couch co-op Fortnite would be cool. Nicco, you go.
I was just going to say basically the same thing. If Fortnite revived the Army of Two style couch co-op campaign, I'd be very into that. Chris.
I have two thoughts. My first thought is that it's very interesting that beat 'em ups are kind of a actually very alive genre these days with consistently well known and liked releases. But something like Contra, I never really thought about it. That's not a thing, even though that kind of scratches sort of the same itch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like in that vicinity, but it's not quite the same because like
it's different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the same vibe of like, we're going to sit down on the couch and just blow through this like 2-hour thing, you know?
Yeah.
That's there. Yeah. Which made me think if that were to be put in Fortnite, I was thinking like this mixed with like the Nintendo 99 series they do. And I was like, 99 Contra characters running through with like things blasting people through. And you got to try to kill them, but also not get caught in a crossfire. It would be a mess, but it could work.
That jumps into the thought I had just now, which was top-down arcade shooter, because you can use the gliders you buy in Fortnite, and that would be your vehicle that you're then shooting all the enemies from.
I could have the Peter Copter.
Yeah.
It always comes back to the Peter Copter.
I have two interests in Fortnite. It's the racing game. It's that I can be Peter Griffin. So it's just it's a through line, you know.
Chris, when was the last time you watched Family Guy?
I saw a clip on TikTok as someone was telling a horrible Reddit story about it. Does that count?
See, I told you that.
See, but it's funny. I watched the entire series last year at some point.
The entire series?
Yeah. Family Guy full series retrospective.
It's not that hard to get through.
It's really not that hard to get through. It's just it's family. Yeah,
Could
but
you
it's
imagine
Family
sitting
Guy.
down and declaring that you're going to watch an entire hundreds plus episode series exclusively for patreon.com/crub. Anyway, don't. Anyway, I just really like the idea of the Peter Copter going through Gradius style, like, just shoot.
Chris sent us in our chat for the podcast today. He sent us a picture of just straight up like a promotional image or like an in-game capture of Peter riding in on the Peter Copter, and I just could not stop laughing.
I've been checking the in-game shop. Yeah. It's available today. So as of recording this.
Oh, it is. I gotta go do some match challenges.
And for those of you who are listening, I want you to know that when Kevin brought up like, hey, do you have that Family Guy picture? I thought he was talking to me because I have an entire folder of Family Guy pictures. But no, it was just
a folder of Kingdom Hearts gameplay.
I'm going to scream.
It feels right up there. It was like that Twitter prompt. It's like, who got that one Family Guy photo? And Sean's like, which one?
It's right up there with Donnie Motz's birth certificate.
I hate everything about that episode of the Crubcast.
I love it. It is so just to watch the chaos happen during that. It was just because I messed up, but I wasn't fixing it.
Donnie Motz, baby.
So shout out to that episode of the Crubcast. Go find it. I'm not going to tell you what number it is.
I don't know which one it was either.
Do we have any other Fortnite genres? And I do want to say before, while you guys think if you have any more, that again, this isn't necessarily specific to Fortnite outside of the Peter Griffin thing. It's more that Fortnite is the only game that's become a platform in itself that could pull this off. Roblox is technically another that does this, to be fair, but they exploit child labor, so we don't talk about them.
Yeah, Fortnite might, but we don't know about it, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I could see Fortnite bringing back I was going to say like the home trivia genre because Jackbox kind of fell off. And I feel like
they released
Fortnite,
another one like 3 months ago.
No, I know, but they fell off. That's like the quality is degrading.
Have you played the new one?
Dude, I always play the new ones. I haven't played this most recent new one yet, but like I played all of them up to this point.
If there's anyone I trust to be playing every new Jackbox, I guess it'd be Nicco, actually.
Yeah, it's the man who watches every Family Guy episode.
Yeah.
As a challenge.
I'm glad you've taken that mantle from me. Despite
Nicco, you should play Kingdom Hearts.
I was about to say, you're just taking everything from Sean.
See, now that would be funny to do for 2 hours on one Crub stream. Play Kingdom Hearts for 2 hours.
You would probably beat Kingdom Hearts faster than you beat Doom Eternal, to be fair.
I don't know.
I don't think that's true.
You get to the Alice in Wonderland platforming part and be like, what do I do? And to be fair, same, but...
to be honest with you fellas, I have played Kingdom Hearts in my life. I haven't finished it.
Okay.
I don't like
I think I got
Tarzan.
I could be manufacturing. I think I got to the Cerberus fight, like the three-headed dog, three-headed one. Olympia. Yeah, the Hercules world.
Olympus.
I think I got there. That's what I remember. I think I might have bought the second gummy ship.
Oh, I did not flag you as someone who would have played Kingdom Hearts, let alone get like far in it. Wow.
Are you going to go to that Disney Swinger website, Nicco?
Don't.
I didn't hear what he said.
That's okay.
Let it go.
I'm
Just
surprised
let
you
it go.
played a Disney game, though, because that came out after you got traumatized by Disney.
No, it came out before.
When did you get traumatized
Weren't
by
you like
Disney?
5 or like 6?
2009.
You were traumatized in...
What happened in 2000?
That was
What is this?
2009?
Oh, no, 2005. Sorry, 2005. You're right.
Okay, Kingdom Hearts
05.
would have
It was
2002.
2005. You said you were right. You were right. I was wrong.
Was Kingdom Hearts
2005. I
met you in 2009. So if you were like, I've recently been
2005.
hit on
No,
the
it was
hand by a
2000.
Disney chef.
Yeah, we'll talk about that story. Should I tell
do
that
it.
story,
Yeah, tell the
fellas?
story now.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
time.
What?
All right. Yeah. So, when I was a young lad, somewhere south of 10 years old, my family took me to Disney World. And I love them to death for that. I don't love them to death for that, but I love them to death, and they did that.
In spite of that.
And yeah, in spite of that. So
There's so many children out there that are like, God, I'll never get to go to Disney World. I wish I could go. And you're like, man, my parents took me to Disney World.
No, but I know.
What a
That's why.
drag.
But I told them so many times. I was like, I don't want to go. 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 Okay.
They wanted to go.
And they were like, but we want to give you this experience as parents. And that's why I'm saying they're good parents, right? Like they were trying to give me that experience that kids have, but I was actively saying, no, this is not for me. Mm-hmm. Like I would have much rather gone to Universal. Well, okay, no, I lied. I would have much rather not gone on vacation. And I still hold that opinion.
Nicco, what traumatized you?
Okay. Just get to that.
So we went to Disney World. We go to MGM Studios. They have this theme restaurant there that is in the 1950s. And the whole thing is that the waiters and waitresses are your parents. And you walk in and they're like, hi, we're your mom and dad. And I thought that was weird because I was a child and I couldn't process that. And my parents didn't understand that I couldn't process that. And so we sat down at the table. Now, mind you, the table's height. Now I'm very short. I was very short back then. The table was up to like my chin. Like it was a high table, right? And the waiters and waitresses do their whole thing. They're like, oh, but you got to abide by the manners. We're your mom and dad. And then like, I was eating my chicken nuggets as one does after going through the
after such an experience.
The pageantry, right?
Yeah.
And the waiter, and to be honest with you, right? The waiter probably tapped me. Probably wasn't a lot, but I was a child and I didn't know any better and I didn't understand it. And so the waiter like hit me with a spatula and I perceived it as being whipped with the spatula. That's my side of the story. Okay. And he was like, no elbows on the table. Like, no elbows on the table. Cause the table was so high, I had to put my elbows on it to get good leverage on these chicken nuggets. And it was,
leverage on these chicken nuggets.
How are chicken nuggets part of two of your origin stories, for one thing?
Oh, gosh.
Well, it might have been chicken tenders, to be honest with you. I don't really remember. But,
it'll count.
Well, and also because I only ate like 5 foods as a child. I eat a lot more things now. I legitimately only ate chicken nuggets, pizza without the cheese on it. I took the cheese off. I don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. I'm good now. I'm straight.
I understand that as a child.
I'm set with food. We're good.
Right.
But yeah. So
that was it. That was it. Just those two things.
Well, they whipped me with the spatula, and like I just couldn't process it as a child. And like my parents kept telling me, "No, Nicco, it's part of the joke. It's part of the joke. It's part. Just go along with it. Just go along with it."
It's just a prank, bro.
Yeah, it's just a prank.
Well,
to be fair.
That's pretty much what I got told. And like, you can't tell that to like someone who's under 10 years old, right? Like, I don't remember exactly how old I was, right? But like, you can't say that to a child and just say it's part of the joke. Like, you gotta, no, the correct answer is, hey, this is my child. He's clearly not into the bit. Just serve him like normal. Like
I would say it's
that's
more
the
so.
proper
Can we-
response.
Nico,
Don't
if you
touch
have
my
kids
child.
one day, I want you to take them to that restaurant where they roast you.
Oh no way! No way! I'm not going to Dick's
No, you gotta
Last
pay
Resort.
for it. Hurt people, Nico. You gotta.
Did you learn nothing from The Last of Us Part 2?
Mind you,
Cycles of
your
violence.
elbow is on the table right now.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
I'm
Look
not
down.
gonna lie to you.
Look down.
I think it.
Think.
I'm like kind of even with you to the sense. So I'm like, man, that's an incredibly weird one-off gimmick for a restaurant at Disney. Like, why would they do that?
Yeah, I
but I'm
don't like
also
them.
like, I don't know if I would then walk back and be like, all of that is bad now. I'd just be like, man, that was a weird restaurant.
No, I
don't ever
didn't.
wanna
I
go back.
already was not on the Disney train like before that. It just
that was
never
the
my
final straw. That was when you were
Yeah,
like, that's it.
it was
That's
a-
fair.
Yeah, it was
Elbows
sort of a
up,
straw.
boys.
Well, I'll tell you the straw was that broke the camel's back was when I started like learning more about how business works and how Disney
This is
does
stupid.
like business.
Okay, well that's more fair then.
And so that was the real like straw in the camel that broke the camel's back. I just didn't like the Disney aesthetic before that. I wasn't as much as I was a child, right? I didn't have a sense of humor as a kid, so I grew up very serious, and I was not in the target demo to begin with, if I'm honest with you. And like,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
I was always more of like a Halloween guy, like a horror type guy, or like comedy and things like that, right? And so, you know, I always liked more that kind of stuff. I was big into zombie movies. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Where are we
yeah.
circling back to out of this one?
Nowhere.
So I want there to be a
Not
Star
going
Wars
to.
restaurant.
Nowhere.
I want there to be a
No.
Star Wars restaurant at Disney World where they do the same thing, but they do it and you're a youngling and they force feed you blue milk and they keep feeding you and you're not allowed to stop.
I want to work there, but as Anakin.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was waiting for the Anakin mention where you just get sliced out. That or it's like...
It's the same guy with the spatula from the other place.
It's a spatula lightsaber.
I've been waiting for you, Nico. I was waiting for it to be like the A New Hope
Duel
bar.
of the Fate starts playing.
and
where
I
you
just
go in
pull out.
and you just get shot. And then
Pull
revisionist
out.
history 30 years later. It's like, actually, he shot first.
I put
Man.
yeah, and
Star
then
Wars
McClunky.
victim blamed.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to be in Kingdom Hearts 4. Oh my god.
Credo did nothing wrong.
McClunky.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Yeah, dude. No, yeah. I feel like I'd show up with like a drumstick that's a lightsaber. Be like, no, not today.
Because
like, dude, but then
Drumstick
like,
that's like a lightsaber. It's an incredible out of context quote.
but it's
Yeah.
so Nicco too, though, when you think about it. Like, out of anything he could bring with him,
well,
a
because I've
drumstick
been,
lightsaber.
well, if they have a
Makes
spatula
sense.
lightsaber and I figured I would get a drumstick lightsaber.
He has to
No?
slice him down with what he was eating as a child, you see.
Yeah, you have to
Oh,
bring
okay,
like a
so I
chicken
get a
tender
butter
lightsaber.
knife.
I was gonna say a chicken tender
I've
lightsaber,
saved
but
this
okay.
chicken tender for years. Is it moldy and gross? Yes, but I'm gonna kill you with it. I'm gonna get my payback.
Dude, the chicken finger shiv is wild.
Yeah, it's not even a lightsaber. You just like stab him with
It's like a stale chicken finger that I've whittled down to a shiv.
Take a turkey wishbone.
And then,
man.
but like you do it from behind, you're just like, no more elbows on the table.
It's like a bad Russian roulette. Like you and the guy, like whoever gets the wish piece lives, I guess,
Ooh,
right?
You do wishbones, but with gun, and you're just both holding.
That's just Russian roulette.
No, but you're both holding the gun.
What if you did wishbone but with gun?
Where is this gone?
Wow.
God. But
Well,
anyway,
if you
who wants to play
don't,
that?
if you don't
This is the
tune
worst
into the
podcast we've ever
exclusive
done.
pre and post show, Crub listeners, then I really implore you to do so. Wow, what an excellent callback!
What a way to celebrate
Yeah.
my birthday.
So
God.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Sean.
Everyone,
Yeah, happy birthday,
everyone
by the
told
way,
Sean
Sean.
10 days later that it's his birthday.
Yes,
Yeah.
do that. Make
I-
sure that you subscribe for my birthday.
I'll close with a rapid fire question here, I suppose, for this part of the discussion. The other idea that we were thinking about talking about when we talked about dead genres was which genres should stay dead. Off the top of your head, does anybody have a genre that they're like, no, that shouldn't come back?
Turn-based.
That didn't.
Turn-based what? Just say it.
I want you to know that like I had an answer in the moment you said turn-based, it just went away. It's just gone.
I mean, just turn-based. That's the answer.
Oh my god.
All turn-based.
Chris, off the top of your head, are there any genres turn-based?
I hate turn-based games. Sure, why not? Let's go with that. That's my answer too, actually, now that we mention it. My thoughts just stopped. I'm like, I guess he means role-playing games. I know he means role-playing games, but turn-based.
No, he's talking about the Doom Java phone game. It's a turn-based shooter.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's a
fine.
real thing. That's a real thing.
Oh my god.
Doom Java phone game.
Yeah, I think there's two. Doom 1 and Doom 2 RPG.
You know what? I'll be controversial. City builders. They're awesome, but when was the last really good one that came out and didn't need like 30 packs of DLC to make it good?
I second that.
That's actually a
Like that's a genre I should be like real into and keeping up with, but City Skyline 2 came out and didn't work, and I was just like, man, if that game comes out and doesn't work, then what hope is there for City Builder?
I'll jump off of that and I'll say, as much as I like them tycoon games, because it's just people with anxiety pretending they can manage a Walmart. And
guilty.
Yeah. And I think that at that point it's like if you can manage this thing, get the capital and do it yourself.
yeah.
Make one bathroom in your roller coaster theme park or whatever, and then make a restaurant where you hit all the children.
Valid. Here's mine. It finally came back to me after all this time.
Oh,
truck driving simulators.
Just stay dead.
Just stay dead.
Stay dead. Truck driving simulator.
I would have said the train simulator genre because that does very well, but I don't understand how.
Yeah, I think I agree. Like just the anything simulators that are not like
there's a lot of specific
now.
You know what it is? It's some guy called Reginald with like a curled mustache, and he has his little basement, and like he has this monitor set up so he feels like he's in an actual train cab, and he streams it, and he's like, "Thanks for the choo-choo bits," and that's all he does every day when he gets home.
No, but
he's buying those are, and that's how it succeeds.
Do you think there are like loot box whale streamers for the train simulator?
I thought you were going to say like whale hunting simulator for a second.
No.
Train sim and flight sim are like the innocent ones. Like I'm thinking more of like your goat simulators and things like that, where it's like
some of those are fun.
Where it's like meant to be like a tongue-in-cheek version of something that was once meant to be an actual simulator.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean like the
I'm with
super serious ones.
Yeah,
the like overly serious where you have to actually push the correct buttons. No, just freaking go, you slut muffin.
I'll bounce off of that and say one that just came to mind. Retro revivals. Because
things that bring back dead things should stay dead.
Well, the thing is, Shovel Knight's the one game that was like, hey, we've done it, we don't need to do any more, and they still keep being made. I saw one that was like a Castlevania game that's coming out. We already had Bloodstained that exists. Like Bloodstained, like Curse of the Moon is really, really good. Like Inti Creates already makes these things, and I feel like I'm tired of. I like that people are getting the games that like they liked as a child and getting new, worse versions of those things most of the time, but I'm getting tired of that being so many like small indie front productions because you know that these people are more creative than that. And I get that, you know, there's 20,000 indie games that come out a year. It's hard to get on the market. It's hard to sell whatever, unless you're like, oh, this is inspired by Scrimbo Bimblo. And I don't know. So many of them aren't done well enough to justify existing a lot of the time. Cause it's like, oh, this is pretty okay. I'm glad I spent $2 on this.
Yeah, I can see that. Cause like I do buy a lot of like indie platformers, and some of them, like, obviously they're inspired by, but it also kind of feels like it's copied rather than inspiration. And it kind of like just, okay, this feels like so-and-so, but I'd rather be playing that game than this.
Yeah, like go ahead, Chris, go ahead.
I've gotten like 3 emails in the last week, actually, now that I'm remembering, because I just see them when I wake up and I just don't even think about it on my phone.
Yeah.
But 3 different emails from indie developers, God bless them, reaching out, being like, I'm making an Outrun inspired game. I see that you cover racing games. You might like it. And I click through and I look, and it's like a top-down isometric racing. I'm like, that's not Outrun. A, everything you said is right, Kevin. But B, stop lying to me about it also. Like, I know Outrun's the game, but don't don't just say Outrun if you're not Outrun. That's a different game.
I'm so glad I unsubscribed from all those emails because, oh my God, they were constant for a long, long time. And that's probably why I'm so disillusioned with it. But like, you know, there's like Ukulele where if there's a Ukulele 2 that eventually comes and they make it, you know, a combination of what the first game tried to do and the second game succeeded at doing, there's room for that to exist. You know, Hat in Time is really beloved. I think that game's mid. But
Just throwing that out
because
there.
it's a retro revival in the style of someone who's not a native game designer coming in and kind of just saying, what if I make this game and then I make a different game for the next world, and then I make a different game for the next world.
Yeah.
It's got stellar
Well, actually,
movement
Kevin,
mechanics.
I have a bit of a surprise. We have the creator of Hat in Time here, ready to interview right now.
He's got a spatula.
It does. I do really like A Hat in Time. For it does. The only thing, as you said, I don't like that it just kind of breaks away from the gameplay each world. We'll talk about retro stuff.
Well, it reminds me of, and I've talked about this on prior episodes and on the pre and post shows before. It reminds me of like a lot of Sony Japan Studio in the PS3 era, where the general key to game design in a lot of developers' minds is your game should be like 4 or 5 ideas, and you iterate on those ideas, and then you make them better over the course of the game. You know, you stick to a few things, you make them really, really good. So many indie games, because just like, you know, something like doing a podcast or doing, because this is just radio, but worse.
Way worse.
something like this, or, you know, a YouTube creator versus IGN reviewer. It's become democratized. Anyone can do it, and therefore people that maybe hadn't considered entering the field of game design before and haven't like properly professionally studied it, they go in and they say, oh, would be really cool if I add this thing now, and they go based on like their whims. And that can make for an interesting experience if done right, but most of these aren't doing a WarioWare style, oh, we can throw everything at the wall and it works. They're trying to capture one vibe while changing their own vibe constantly. And that's kind of my issue with a lot of retro revivals now, is that because there's not like a steady hand behind a lot of them, they feel, for lack of a better term, ADHD to some capacity, which makes sense because I'm gonna venture to say, as 4 people in this call who have ADHD, that a lot of indie fledgling game designers are also probably in that same boat. You know, and that's totally fine. But there's a reason that in a more professional outlet, that stuff tends to get like, hey, you know, let's keep you in scope here because things get expensive.
Yeah, because you do kind of need someone to like reel you back with a lot of your ideas. Like I this is nowhere even near close, but I've been like working on a game, learning game development and whatnot, and like I've gone to a couple game developer friends. Like, hey, what do you think about this and this and this? And they've given me like really good pointers. Like, hey, that's a good idea, but that's not going to work. Cut it out, you know. And they've helped me realize, okay, you know, step by step, and kind of realize how to go about that process. And it's really interesting because like a change of gameplay, you know, a change of pace can be nice here and there, but when you do it so much, what's your identity at that point? Are you really, you know, a platformer, or are you just like a mini game run around hub world type deal, you know?
And it reminds me of, there was a clip that I saw about, I think, God of War 1, maybe God of War 2's design, that went around this past week, where it was Cory Barlog talking about like the stuff that goes into a simple set piece, where it's like, it was like Kratos shaking a pillar. And they're talking,
you mean Valhalla and not God of War 2?
No, I'm sorry, God of War 2, like proper 07 God of War 2. Sorry,
Gotcha.
thank you.
Yeah.
But talking about what went into it back then, because this is when this dude had hair and it was like not gray. And he's talking about, okay, we have this idea to make this pillar shake based on a QTE, and there's enemies on top that have to die when you defeat it, or something to that extent. And he's talking about, okay, so we need to have the designers on board, then we need to have the combat designers on board to make sure the enemies can respond properly. We need the gameplay designers on board because they need to make sure the controller inputs actually affect the animation. We need a graphics guy. We need a sound guy. We need a music guy. All of this for a thing that lasts 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. It's an economy of scale at a point, you know? Yeah. And that's a thing that it leads to a lot of these indie games taking 10 years to be made because you need discipline to do it. I speak as somebody who was going to enter a career in game development, and then when I started programming in high school, that was my goal. I was going to do that. Then when I was in high school, I started working on games, and I knew how to keep myself in scope. But the thing that people don't talk about with a lot of game development is the things that you learn aren't from watching like tutorial videos. Like that's usually what you would do when you're learning. The things you learn are from when you're hitting your keyboard with your head again and again and again, trying to find out why one bug specifically is breaking everything. And then when you find out, you go to Stack Exchange and you're like, this is my issue. And someone says, oh, you forgot a period. Yeah. And it's stuff like that constantly for months and years.
And that's why, like, a lot of RPGs, indie RPGs, take such a really long time, because in indie RPGs, say you have, like, a cutscene, you have to write so much for that cutscene, and then that cutscene's done.
Yep, and it's just all, like, unless you've scripted it as an engine component, for lack of a better term. Yeah. Unless you have a specific engine script in place to handle cutscenes and movement in cutscenes, which you should. It should be a thing you do.
It should be, but...
Otherwise, you're doing it individually, like Pokemon. Pokemon Gen 7, Sun and Moon. The Lily, the girl, was it Lily?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 200 of her character model in the game. It's identical because they didn't just have a global Lily model. They used a new. They placed a new instance in every single time they needed her to show up.
Mm-hmm. And that does sometimes happen in indie development, because a lot of times, like, you will have that scene and then you'll never use that stuff again, which, again, it comes down to having a process, having that same cycle to go back to. That comes from, one, learning from other people, and two, experience, at least from my standpoint, because, like, again, I'm very early in game development. I've been working on it for, like, about a year, and I'm nowhere near close. So ignore any of that. But it's so interesting because you learn so much the more you do, and then you kind of use that moving forward, where, like, a set piece that would take you like 2 days to do, you can do in like 2 hours. I don't know. Game development's such an interesting, painstakingly focus-oriented passion, I guess. Because I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this just to create. Yeah. And there's so much that comes down to it that I really respect. Like, while yes, I'm critical of a lot of indie games, the amount of effort that goes into it cannot be misstated. Like, there's so much that goes into it, and I respect the piss out of people that do that, because, like, oh my god, so much goes into it. And I love that, and I appreciate that, unless you do complete asset flips that are just scams, and piss off. But other than that,
Sean, you should put an RNG thing into your game where the enemy comes up and then you both hold a wishbone together, and then it's 50-50.
And it's a gun.
Is it a gun?
It's also a gun.
Yeah, it's a gun.
It's a wishbone gun.
You could say it's Persona inspired. A retro revival of Persona.
Retro revival of Persona.
Yeah. I think I've seen that somewhere too, which maybe just circles back to, like, why don't do that.
You can wear your inspirations on your sleeve. Yeah. It's sort of, again, I'm going to use the YouTuber comparison here. Everyone starts off ripping off their favorite YouTuber when they start, and then you find your own identity. If you haven't found your own identity by the end, you're going to be in for a bad time. Eventually. Even if it's not that game, it might be when it releases, and you're like, oh, this got this many sales, because it's probably going to get that many anyway, but you got to give yourself the best foot forward in an exceedingly competitive industry. And if all you do in standing out is say, hey, look, I'm inspired by this thing, you better hope there are a lot of, influencers you can send a free code to so that they're nice to you, because that's the main way you're going to get your press nowadays. Versus if you have a really standout, polished, not stripped back, but thought out experience where I can't think of the right word for it, but if you've got that effort and you've got it scaled to exactly where it should be, and it's very tight, you're going to get a lot more people that are going to want to engage with it versus quirky and a lot of things. That's a really long sidebar.
And people do this in music all the time, but as opposed to it being like sort of a socially driven thing where people reach out to you to give you codes or whatever, like people will
here's my album.
Yeah, they'll do like, here's my album, but like,
or did I write the song of the summer? That type
right.
thing.
And like, when people have not found their own voice, I do see a lot of things nowadays. And honestly, I'm fans of some of the people who do this, which is taking the older style and doing sort of the retro revival music edition, right? Where they'll like make, like either a New Jack Swing song or like whatever Lawsy does, like the 2000s pop type, R&B stuff that you don't really see a lot of now. People will do it, and then they unfortunately become one-hit wonders because they have one song that pops off, and then the rest of their songs are just imitations of stuff. And I'm not saying Lawsy is, but maybe a little. I love Lawsy's music, so I'm not criticizing it. I just think it is true that the charm maybe wears off after a while on people who don't love that.
And it depends. I'll shout out to a similar kind of capacity, your album, because that album was specifically designed to be a thing where it kind of expanded from multiple genres, but it carried through a narrative through line, because that was the thing that you and I talked about when you were first like, I'm going to do an actual album this time. Yeah. And, you struggle with writing not based on your own experience. So, you wrote a song about Disney being mean to you, and I was like, hey, maybe don't make that. But
that was a weird one.
Wait, did I actually do that? Is that true?
Probably not. I don't know. But
it is now.
It's like, no, because I've thought about it. Like, that's why I'm like, I've thought about it, which is why I was like, wait, did I actually execute on that and forget?
Oh my God.
I had told you at that point, like, why don't you take this thing that we worked on in high school and college and take that storyline and adapt it so that you know that you can get into this character's shoes, tell the story from that character's perspective, and you can explore several different genres in doing so while they all still have some narrative or musical through line to them. Yeah. And I think that that's the sort of thing that works. If you do it in a way that is designed, if you're making a game that is intentionally going to jump between genres, there has to be a point to it.
Yes.
Yep. Agree strongly.
Yeah. The only thing I want to... Oh, do you have anything?
No. I don't know why I said things.
Oh. I was just going to... This is the last thing I have to say on the topic. And this is just from my experience. And it's my birthday. You have to listen to this advice. You don't have a choice. You're welcome.
It's my birthday.
Okay, so wait. I'm writing this down. On your birthday... On your birthday, you get to give unsolicited advice no matter how many points you have.
This is Sean's birthday sloppy. Yeah.
It is. It is. And it's kind of wet.
Wait, Sean, you do have negative 29 points, by the way.
You're welcome. Here's the thing that I've learned is create something that you want to create, whether that be writing down music, writing a poem, trying to work on a game, making a video. Do something you want to make. Do something you enjoy. Number one. Number two, be yourself. We can be inspired, but be yourself in some way, shape, or form. You hold so much power within yourself that you may not even know it. People will resonate with who you are. The right people will. Not everybody. It sucks to say, but the right people will resonate with you. The right people will be there. And number three, don't be afraid to push yourself. Just do not be afraid to do that, because there's going to be times where it's difficult, where it sucks, and you're just like, you want to pull your hair out or scream. Sometimes take a day off. Be kind to yourself. but also push yourself to take that next step to see what you can do outside the box, because so often we look at what's inside the box, yet we don't see what's around us to take that inspiration. So let me tell you this one more time. Do those 3 things and you'll do awesome. Happy birthday, me.
Happy birthday, Sean.
Happy birthday, Sean, an audience member whose birthday is today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Yes,
You don't do
I'd
that,
say
we're
your
not.
name.
Happy birthday to the country of Norway, which was also founded on today.
Yeah.
We love
don't-
you.
Norway, you up?
Why aren't you listening, Norway?
Does Norway have a Twitter? Can I DM them? Ask if
Probably.
they have-
Good.
Oh, man. Well, speaking of DMing, you can DM us a Patreon question of the week if you go to patreon.com/Crub, where we can get the Patreon question of the week. Chris, would you care to read that off today?
Let's hope Discord
I'll read
keeps
it
their
off.
cameras up.
The
Thank you.
Patreon
Yes.
question of the week is from TK Hub World.
Okay.
So I'm going to read the exact quote, and then we're going to take our interpretation of it because I didn't quite understand this, so I rewrote it.
Okay.
I'm loving the video game character in real life content. Here's my question. Everyone write on a piece of paper a non-human NPC and a chore. Reveal NPCs before writing chores. Who would be able to do all 4 chores best? The way that I had interpreted that was, which non-human NPC would be the worst at chores? That's the way that I'm going to answer it, at least.
Yeah.
Because
Okay,
that's
so
a very long topic otherwise.
Okay.
As a kind, gentle general rule, just a question prompt is preferred.
Yes.
That's like a whole thing.
Yeah. So which non-human, or it says non-human NPC. I don't think it has to be non-human. Which NPC would be the worst at chores? I'm going to say...
Well, I think I have an answer given the episode where we did the draft that one time, and my wild card.
true.
And my wild card was the Orphan of Kaz, and it was just awful at everything.
That's true.
So, like, it was awful
Yeah.
at everything except fighting. So I think it's the Orphan of Kaz from Bloodborne.
I think
might be the
Sephiroth would be the
worst.
worst on a date.
That's
Oh,
fine.
Sephiroth
That's not a
was-
chore, but...
It could be.
If it's not going well,
Sephiroth?
it's a chore pretty quickly.
Sephiroth
Yeah.
and all your anime loner characters would actually suck at dates, because you'd be like, oh, where'd you grow up? And they'd be like, you wouldn't understand.
Grew up in Nibelheim.
Tidus from Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
I
Nice.
think that Tidus would be the worst at reading, because he would be reading everything and he would look at it and say, "This is my story."
Okay.
No one else is allowed to tell a story.
I would. Okay, that's actually a good one.
My answer is Klungo. He's got big, dumb,
That
cartoon
sounds,
hands.
That
Okay.
sounds made up. Is that a real character name?
It's
Yes,
Klungo
Klungo.
from Banjo Tooie.
There's-
Klungo?
Well, he was in Kazooie too, right?
He's
don't-
one who throws the
care.
oranges at you.
Whatever.
Klungo?
Yeah,
He's from
in
Banjo
Mumbo
Oh
Tooie.
Town.
my god.
He's from-
That's so close to Scrungo.
Wrinkly Kong would be really bad at being alive.
for a little bit.
Right. If her task was be alive, you do a pretty bad job.
Being alive is a chore. Oh, can we make that a shirt, like a knockoff Wrinkly Kong?
Yeah,
And then being alive is a chore.
She's coming out of like a god. Yeah, the ghost. Yeah, you know what? Yes, do that.
I'm not saying the other
I would-
thing planned for our Crub merch store because I don't want someone to steal it. But we now
Oh,
have
that's
to.
a really good one. That's a
But
really
I
good one.
kid you not, I would unironically wear the piss out of that shirt.
That would do
It'd
very
be,
well.
it'd be the Watto, don't bother me till I've had my coffee.
I wear that to the gym. I'm
I
not
believe
kidding.
you. I believe you.
Yeah, I do too. That
My
makes sense.
favorite part about that is the Watto. So we made Watto shirts for all of the Crub boys for Too Many Games the one year.
Right.
This is Watto independently then became a charity room meme because we were just doing the voice anyway. For those that follow, each of us. But we were doing Watto over like PSN and Discord and just playing Apex and making dumb Watto jokes. And it became a thing down to we made Watto shirts for Too Many Games because we were like, that'd be really funny.
Yeah.
There's one extra shirt that we don't know where it went.
Yeah.
It was not at the Airbnb that when we left. No
Yeah.
one who everyone checked their bags afterwards. It does not exist. So there's
No.
there's a ninth. Don't bother me till I've had my coffee. Watto
Somewhere.
shirt where he has a chain and a cigar,
yeah.
and
Like,
someone has that.
Someone.
You can open up
never
a
know.
Wonka bar and find it yourself. You could be the lucky one.
God.
Ooh, Charlie and the Esports Factory.
God, no.
Charlie,
Sorry, that
is
was
that a
so
Watto shirt?
God. I also find it funny that, like, I haven't watched Star Wars, and yet I wear that shirt religiously. I had one person, like, ask me about that shirt one time. I'll never forget it. He, like, came up to me and was like, oh, what did he say? Because I was, like, not high. I was, like, hyped up on pre-workout. What did he say to me? It doesn't matter. Anyway, Croc is the worst at everything.
He just walked up to you and he's like,
I can tell you what someone said to me wearing that shirt. I was wearing it on a Zoom call, and so the like a Zoom call for work, and so the frame was like this, and it just said "Don't bother me," and it was a picture of Watto with the chains and the blood. And my boss at the time was just like, oh yeah, don't bother me, huh? Like I see how it is.
So I've had my
I was
coffee.
like, oh no, and I was like, oh no, it's not like that. I just need my coffee.
and then you stood up and you're not wearing pants and you're like, oh no.
It's like,
just
pantsless coffee,
No,
all right.
I actually do make a point to wear pants every time that I'm working from home.
Disgusting.
What about when you're doing the Crubcast?
Yeah.
You want to try me?
I do.
I do not.
I
You
do.
think I'm wearing pants right now?
Stand up right now.
right now.
Schrodinger's pants. What if I'm
Stand
not?
up. Stand
I could
up
just
right
not be wearing pants.
Stand up.
You're not going to do it.
But I could just not be
it's
wearing
my
pants.
birthday. You have
right
to do
this
it.
moment.
It's
stand
my
up.
birthday.
I'm telling
You have
Nicco,
to do it.
Stand up.
All right.
It's my birthday. I'm telling you
Hit
to
the
listen
bumper.
to
Hit the
Kevin.
bumper. Hit the bumper.